I wouldn't ask you to do that.
Thank you for helping out. I have no idea what's going on.
They got lost actually, that's what happened. And then they got there. You heard that they were coming from Southeast Asia. It was really good. They were heading to Colombia. Such a change, right?
So I have you guys' attention for a couple, just 2 minutes left. Okay, excellent. Okay, so just 2 things, and then I'm going to go and try to fix the computer. Today I sent out the email for our capstone ceremony, which happens in May. I would like you all to be there. That's the one night that can be celebrated, where we can give you your certificates, call your name, get you up. Some alumni come. We're also going to invite back some other folks who are going to get certificates. It's a nice night. We're already working it out. We have some photo sessions, some photos. The president will not be there, but the provost may be there. He has another engagement. And it's a nice night where we get celebration. So please sign up for that. We need to know that guest list as quickly as possible because it makes it easier for us to know how much food we need and whatever other things that we need to get for the event. You know, there will be people who sign up late because the deadline is much later, but do it as soon as possible. The other thing is that the retreat is next week. So this is our last workshop before our spring break. We will have 2 workshops after spring break, so don't think that this is the end of the semester. I know you guys have like other things that are going to be happening very quickly after spring break. We also have some forums that we're working out the details on, which we will alert you to. I don't think the one that's supposed to be scheduled for next week is going to happen. We're working out the details of that in May, and I will give you an update on that in an email. But just know that we have 2 more workshops after the break, regular Friday workshops. And if you buy our retreat, I'm going to send all the information hopefully before the end of the day today. For those of you that are not, you're going to miss out, but that's okay. We love you still. It's all good. And then the final thing is that we do have some things over spring break in terms of volunteer work. So I will remind you a couple times next week. We're still working with the Food Bank of New York. Oldest is working on that. About doing that one of the days. They have a whole schedule all week long. We were planning to do the Thursday afternoon one. They gave us a little bit of a hiccup on that. So we're waiting to confirm if we're going to have it. And hopefully it will be next week, not the week of spring break. And then we also have on that Saturday, we're going to be in the park. We're definitely going to be in the park with the parks and food. So I'll give you updates on that next week. So don't turn off just yet. I know on Friday, spring break starts, my brains start melting because midterms are ending and finals are almost on the way. So, but keep everything in mind. And now we're going to do an introduction.
Yes.
And I have to go back there and do all. I have to go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have Rabiat, she's a graduate, a CUNY graduate of City College, a former 15 years old, but 15 years trainer, and currently a coach and workshop leader throughout CUNY and other organizations.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys to come this way so that we're all tight together. Thank you, honey. Say hello. Do you not know me? Oh, okay. Sure. Thank you. This way I'm not doing a lot of back and forth. So, first of all, who's graduating this year? A round of applause to you all, because it's always a big deal. Secondly, my workshop is going to be a little bit different in that I'm going to ask you, I remember you, hi, how are you? I'm going to ask you to turn off your logical brain and turn on your creative, intuitive brain. And that's where we're going to focus on a wellspring of information that you have that you generally don't tap into, and use that as a leadership tool for yourself, especially as you get ready to do the next phase of your lives, graduation, work, what have you. Excuse me 1 second. I'll just go over and just have another This is called working on the fly and making it work no matter what. So, who am I? My name is Rabiat, Onikute. Like I was introduced, have done learning and development for 15 years in the finance industry. Prior to that, I was in the military. And prior to that, I graduated from City College, and prior to that, I was at Queens College. So for me, it is a specific love and a clear intent that I will work with CUNY colleges so that we can get the most of what I've learned and from finance, rather from corporate America and from the military, and bring it back to serve us. That being said, about 7 years ago, I decided to leave corporate America and be a full-time mom because y'all know this thing. I've got 3 little boys, a dog, 2 cats, and 2 guinea pigs. It's like decisions, right? Decisions. I had reached a point in my career, and so it was right after the Depression of 2008, where I said, really and truly, what's important to me. And this is something that I'm going to give to you as well. You have to decide what is more important, the time or the money. Because those are your value sets, right? Time, money, product. And if your product is your children, your marriage, whatever is important to you, then either time or money have to be sacrificed. And by sacrifice, I mean you essentially are going to weigh one over the other. Clearly, in choosing to step away from corporate finance, I had to make adjustments in my budget because my money was going to shift. But in terms of the time that I was giving with my family, I don't have any shift, right? There's no place else I can put that time. So what I did was come up with, again, the best things that I learned, and then the opportunities that I saw that especially we as people of color may not access as we're going into those worlds. So, today's presentation is about emotional intelligence. Now, who has heard about that? No, you don't need to answer. Who's heard about emotional intelligence as a concept in the world? One? 2. Okay. Tell me what you know. Speaking from the done.
I know that emotional intelligence knows what you're doing. People have to interact with them and the way you maintain your emotions.
Okay. Were you at last year's in the other room? No? I don't think you look coming. Okay. Yeah? What do you know about emotional intelligence? That's the other thing. One of the other things that I do as a corporate trainer is teach people to, especially women, project. It's also a military thing. It's got to sound up. I'm not going to get closer, and neither are you.
So basically, yeah, it's about how you interact with people, how you're able to emotionally connect with people, and the way you channel your emotions.
I like that. Right. Okay. So, oftentimes we hear about the main intelligences, right? Spatial, analytical, those types of things. We're starting to see a rise now in the awareness that the energy that a person brings into the room impacts those in the room as well as the results of whatever is discussed in that room. Right? We already know. You come in with a bad attitude, chances are everyone else is going to pick up on it and either zone out or respond in kind. Because it takes a lot more energy to respond to someone else's angst, whatever it may be, with compassion. Especially if they don't know why you're angsty. And one of the things that I have since learned, is that even how we describe emotional intelligence today is very much based on your logical self. So it's the definition is one that is how you perceive your emotions, how you access and generate emotions so as to assist your thought process, how you understand your own emotions and the breadth of emotions that are available to you. By that I mean going from joy, happiness, exuberance at a project well done, to pissed off, everybody here is an adult, annoyance at the uppery that happened to you today, yesterday, or that you can see coming down the pipeline from the email that was sent to you because they're not reading through, or whatever the case may be, and it's triggering something in you. And lastly, how to reflectively regulate your emotions to promote growth in your emotions and in your intellect. And so you can get that information anywhere on the internet, right? Start to Google it, take all of the quizzes, and I've got a resource for you here where you can see where do I land in my awareness of my own emotions. Excuse me. What I want you to know is not just where do you land, but also what drives your emotions and where they come from. So the components of emotional intelligence are, ladies, the components of emotional intelligence. What do you remember or know that it's made up of? There are 5, but tell me which ones you know. That's actually a subset of one. What else? So give a thought. What do you think it would be comprised of? Being intelligent about your emotions, what would it be comprised of? Okay, so let's put that, the feeling of being able to pick up on someone else's emotions, right? So that could also be considered empathy, being able to sense where someone else is. Go ahead. What kind of awareness? Of me. I have to know where I am that day. I have to know that I'm pissed off. Because in knowing, not just being pissed off, but knowing why I'm pissed off. Right? Why am I, and maybe I'm not all the way pissed off, maybe I'm just frustrated. But you have to know where you're at and know what was the cause to know that you can put it into a box and put it on the shelf for a little while. That makes sense? Kind of, sort of? Yeah? Because it's literally saying, it's like asking a child, why are you crying? And they're like, I don't know, but I'm crying. That's how oftentimes a lot of us are walking through the world. I'm responding to my emotion, but I don't know why. Or I can't talk about it. I can't put my finger on it. I can't say what caused it. I don't know how I'm feeling, but I know what I'm putting out. Right? So the components of emotional awareness are self-awareness, again, knowing yourself, managing yourself, so that's self-regulation, self-motivation, being able to manage your emotions to be able to implement your goals, right? And harness your willpower to motivate and keep yourself going. Empathy, intuiting and understanding, and being able to at least give that other person the space to go through whatever they're going through in that moment. And lastly, social skills, which is managing other people. And that's what you'll get even as you're working on projects or working in a team or truly being in a supervisory role above a group of people. It's being able to say, okay, I know this person's default emotional state is low-level irritation. We don't know why. Maybe they always have a crappy commute, and it always takes them 2 hours to get in. So it takes them 2 hours to get back to normalcy. But we have a early morning meeting. So I know they're coming in irritated. How much space am I going to give them so that they can manage that? Rather than me saying, you have to deal with that outside. Right? Because that's the old way of thinking. Put your emotions in a box, throw them on the shelf. Even if I don't show it, if I speak, if I cut somebody else off, if I answer choppily, all of those things are those emotions leaking out. Understand? In men, it will look different because men have been, rather culture, society, has given men the lie to live, that they're better at handling their emotions. Right. And as we know, you're just better at masking because you don't have the breadth of emotion that women do. Women are allowed a little bit more. But think about being a man, being stuck in, right? I'm always low-key pissed off. But I can handle my emotions. But you're still not going to get what you want. Doesn't matter how nicely you ask. Why? Because it's something that happened on the commute today. But I'm going to handle my emotions. Or the woman that says, everything is so stressful, I can't sit right now, oh my God, I need a moment. And you always need a moment? Really? You are unable to corral your emotions, put those in a box, and put them on the shelf. And so you see how those two extremes, what's the word I want to use? Disable the person. Because they're not coming with the ability of knowing what it is that's bothering me, being able to manage that annoyance, and then being able to work through it. Motivate through it so that you can do the work that you have at hand, and so their managers are having to now manage for them the rest of the team. Make sense where I'm at so far? Thoughts, ideas, examples? Because I know y'all have seen some of this in your day-to-day. Talk to me. Sure. Self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, empathy. So we're with self-awareness, motivation, regulation. Or awareness, regulation, motivation. Empathy, and social skills. And those last two are more relevant to the who that you're talking to, right? And how you work with other people, whether or not you know them, or whether or not they don't have the ability to work with you. Give me examples, good or bad, that you have seen of any of these things, or that you've managed in yourself.
This happens.
Remind me your name.
Leila.
Hi, Leila, how are you?
This happens to me with a friend. So my friend was really upset because someone did something to him, right? And I just, the only thing that came to my mind was, why don't you have compassion for that person? I said, compassion? I just did what she did to me. And it's like, maybe she was just weird because, you know, when we're kind of be on top of the wrong people.
Yes,
So
hurt
maybe she
people
was
hurt.
weird. And it was like, well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, so because I understand that we get mad and I get mad and I cry and I get frustrated, of course. But at the end of the day, who knows what happens to the other person? You know?
Right.
So I cannot fix the other person, but I can get distance, and so I'm not going to have this situation in my mind for life.
Exactly. Thoughts, feedback? Come on, guys. I know I know someone else has gone through this. We are all working in New York City. Do any of you drive? No? Okay, so y'all don't have the road rage that I do?
I don't drive now.
Okay.
It's rage of, I am a professional pastor.
I like that. I'm driven, I don't care.
That's it, I'm driven either by the MCA or Google to
Yes.
ask me to leave. And you get frustrated, especially with Uber, because they stick to that GPS. And you're like, I would be where I was going
Right.
if you would do it. You know, and a lot of times then you have to realize that's their job. They have to be monitored.
They are monitored.
And if they go off course, they're going to be questioned on it. They might be penalized, or they might lose money. So maybe contact Uber. I have my name. And we can, you know what I mean? Find different ways
Any
to do it,
number
or
of things.
pull things in your car. Because you know that this is a situation.
Right. You already know going in that it's going to be problematic. Why put yourself in that and then get mad at the driver? Right? That's like getting mad at the checkout person in the grocery store, knowing full well they don't know what the price is on the shelf. But if you can manage your situation and or your emotions, how much better? Let me hear from the guys.
My friend was a minister. We work with
You're working with
I
this.
work with God. We work with the deadline.
Okay.
And then I can use the time. Sometimes we work for night. We work with
I need you to speak up so everybody can hear you. Okay.
we have a deadline. So we come out on 19, 2 weeks time.
Okay.
And we need the deadline.
Okay. Okay.
The use of the work.
Okay. So tell me exactly then which part of emotional intelligence did you implement?
The way I solve the problem.
Okay. Well, I would actually say you understood that your colleague was going through, was getting anxious because he was like, we're not going to make it. And instead of telling him, no, we'll be fine, and let's just work harder, instead you fixed an external issue, which is time, and said, we can get more time and still put out a good product and be okay. So yes, that is one way, right, of saying, I'm not going to take on his anxieties. Instead, I'm going to step back and see what else can I shift to address the issue. Make sense? It may sound almost simple or simplistic, but you will be surprised how it's the little things that literally change the people around you. Have you ever heard the phrase, people don't need jobs, they need managers? It is for that reason. People leave managers because the managers themselves either want to hold fast to, we've got to do it right now, it doesn't matter, just work on it. Or they spill over their frustration, annoyances, anxieties, male or female, onto you. I can't hear you.
But they don't know how to handle their job most of the time, and they try to blame it on the employees instead of taking blame that they
Sounds to me like you're giving me an example that you're not giving me the details to. Right?
Like
So,
we have like on my job, they just hired 2 new managers, and it's like this is their first time managing, so they don't really know what they're doing, but they don't take responsibility for errors. They always trying to blame me. Oh, you should have done it this way. I'm like, but you're the manager. You should have told me to do it that way. But I did it this way, then just because nobody told me to do it
differently.
Yeah. So, but they always like.
But isn't that them telling you to do it differently then?
Yeah. But
After the fact.
they
Okay.
wait until like
The
an
issue
error-
has happened.
Yeah, an error happened. And like, oh, you should have done it this way. Why? But you should have informed me.
Before that. that there was a change or what have you. Okay, this is an interesting situation. Here's why. Because there's two ways of looking at that exact same situation. One is, tell me before I mess up. But the other is, they don't know that you're going to mess up or what they think is a mess up, right? And the opportunity exists for you. Instead of you to internalize that as you're blaming me. You ever heard the phrase manage upward? Never heard of it. So manage upward is to how to manage your manager. You can only manage your manager if you can regulate your emotions and use empathy, because you know it's their first time. Everybody has a first time. You're going to be a first-time manager at some point. Excuse me. And you're going to want that seasoned employee who may not be a manager, but who's been doing this job, to pull you aside and say, hey, this is how we've been doing it. Are there any changes? And or if there are no changes, do you want to do something different? Right? That is what's called managing upward. So the next time some craziness happens, because we know it will, you can say to them, I hear you. I understand that you are now in a difficult place as a manager. Because they now have to figure out and report that, right? But as we know, stuff comes downhill, so they got to deal with growth, so they're going to handle growth. And you can say to them, here's how we did it. This was a new change. This is how we've been doing it. How would you like to see it different? How do you understand it being different? If all you're saying is, oh, I could have done it differently, what's the procedure? Right? What am I going by?
It's like, we used to do it in a certain way.
Way.
But nowadays, they want it in a
Different way.
but
Right.
they didn't inform us.
Prior to. Exactly. And that's what I mean by saying to them, okay, stuff has changed. What am I going by? I'm not going to take out your fears and your anxiety as a manager. I'm not going to take that on. I understand why. How can I help you? How can I help you manage the rest of the team? What are you going by that we don't have? Right? Just that statement. What are you using that we don't have? So that we can make you look good. Manage upward. So now it's not everybody sitting over the front like, you see this bullshit? You hear what I just heard? Like, when did they tell us that? Instead, you say, okay, it's a loss. Now what's next? But it requires understanding your own self and then knowing what do I need to work with them. This is also something that I learned from the military. So as a infantry person, you go from private all the way to sergeant, master sergeant. And then you have lieutenants, second lieutenants, and captains, right? But your master sergeant is always more senior than your lowest ranking lieutenant. But the lieutenant is an officer. So it looks like this, but this person is literally 20 to 25 years of a job. This person could be a new college graduate. So the officer comes in and says, this is how we're going to do this. And the master sergeant is like, I hear you. That's a great idea. Here's what we've been doing. Well, this is what I've learned in officer school, and I know this because I've been in both shoes. I didn't get as far as a master sergeant, but I got to officer level. And you see both sides. So the master sergeant says, it's like your grandparents. Let me pull you aside and learn you something smart. Let me drop some wisdom in your ear. I'm not going to take offense to the fact that you just came out of college and you're talking to me like, I'm here to shine your shoes. Instead, I'm going to give you the empathy of understanding you're new at this. So, you need some love. You need to be heard. And now, you need to be offered all of the ways that I can help you. Right? It puts it in a whole different dynamic. And that's what emotional intelligence gives you. This is how it shows up in your day-to-day. That's what I want you to think about. Make sense so far?
But that is hard to do
Very, very.
because we have ego.
Absolutely.
So
Everything.
my ego is here when you are the new boss and you came and you try to teach me something. So yeah, we have to do that, but we have to shut down ourselves. It's like, okay, try to show love and compassion to someone
Who's being
whose
a
ego
total
is
asshole.
Yeah,
Who's an
exactly.
asshole.
So I have to be the better one in the room. Okay.
Yep.
That takes time.
That is what maturity is. Tell me your name. Veronica.
The thing about that situation is that like both egos are threatened because you know you have this authority who's considered higher than you, and then the other person has this other authority who's considered wiser. So yes, both egos are threatened, but if you make as a master sergeant, if you as the master sergeant like
The more senior person in terms of years.
yeah, if you like open that comfortable environment to be vulnerable and like then you know that other
The junior, but more senior.
yeah goes loosen up.
Exactly. And that's the thing right there, right? Someone's got to go first. Somebody has to go first. And that is the hardest part. Because we see being vulnerable as truly a place of weakness. It is not. There is strength in saying, how do you want to do it? What do you think? I know where my boundary lays. I know what I will not do. I'm not running into Grand Concourse for you, but naked. But you want to have a parade along with Grand Concourse because in your mind it's a great idea? Let me help you. Not you coming in a la Trump and saying you want this whole big thing. Let me help you. Allow me to help you. Yes, it requires a whole lot of ego management. And you've got the rest of your life to do it. You have nothing to lose. Because, here's the other part, right? That is actually what a lot of religion is about. It's ego management. It's ego abasement to a higher thing. And oftentimes, we only choose to do it to this higher unseen thing. But if we see that there is the source in the people around us, then can we not see how if I lower my ego to the source that I see in you, then I'm giving you a chance to breathe. Make sense? Men, because for you guys, this is a super big deal, right? How does that land for you? Does that even seem like a possibility? Not you. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody, anybody, give me something. Yep, I've got 3 boys. Did I mention I've got 3 boys? And a husband. So I'm totally comfortable in this space. I'm gonna come over here and not challenge you. I'm going to allow your egos to feel comfortable. How does that land for you?
To me, she's
Tell me your name.
Jamie.
How do you?
So to me, it wouldn't work.
It
It's
would
just
not work.
Yeah, it's just because. For me, for example, let's say that I'm the master's.
Master Sergeant.
Right. Let's say I'm here. I got my ego, but I can't express it to someone else. So I wouldn't be able to work with someone else because I don't have this capacity of expressing my emotion with somebody else. So it's just it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work with me.
And you're not willing to let go.
I will, but it's just I need more like a certain certain orientations that I can attend to, just to enlighten my mind to share my emotion with someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, tell me how old you are. How old are you?
21.
Okay, cool, you got plenty of time. You got the whole life. You were shaking your head. I know you're not hungry. Go ahead.
My name is Mark.
Hi, Mark.
So if I'm a master sergeant, I will not let
If you're what? The master sergeant. Got it.
I will not let go because I will not have to speak up for him that when the captain becomes my own woman, be like, let's change stuff. That would sound disrespectful to me. And I'd be like, you got no experience, you know, man should know how this shit works, so I want to let go. I'll just go on the same.
Okay. Let me tell you why a master sergeant makes it to master sergeant. It's not just years. They know that they are training all of the new lieutenants that come in. And they are required to put their egos down. Because that lieutenant has rank over them. So, master sergeant, shoot yourself in the foot. You're like, why? Because that's what we are called to do today. Let me explain to you the ramifications of the entire unit shooting themselves in the foot, and what that then does to you, and how that relates to you, and what the impact is to us and to the government. I'm not saying no. I'm helping you make a better decision by giving you all of the information that you don't have, but you think you had when you walked in with this brand new command that said, shoot yourself in the foot. See how it's different?
You lost me.
I lost you? Okay. So you said that you could not let go because you know that you know more than that lieutenant.
You have experience.
You have more experience. But the lieutenant was given an order, and he comes in and he gives you this order. And you just say no will get you in trouble. You not taking action will get you in trouble. You walking away will get you in trouble.
I mean, depending on the order.
No, I see your point, but there's when the problems come. Because somebody, a superior, right, the superior